Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. Welcome to the third webinar in Dan's 2021 series. My name is Brian Harper, and I'm the Director of Communications here at Dan. Quick note, there are tornadoes in our area. It's possible that our speaker tonight, Frauke, or I, or Josh, who is running our stream, may need to seek shelter during this presentation, so we apologize in advance for any trouble that causes. As with all of our webinars, we will be doing a Q&A session at the end, so please post your questions in the chat. Note that if you're watching this on the events page of dan.org, you won't be able to post questions there, but if you mouse over the embedded video player there, you can click the name of the presentation at the top of that player, and will take you to Dan's YouTube page, and there you can participate in the chat. You can post the questions as they come to you. I'll be keeping track of those and presenting them to Frauke to answer at the end of the presentation. Please also pop in the chat now if you like, and let us know where you're joining us from. We love knowing where people are tuning in from. But let me move on to introducing our illustrious speaker tonight. Frauke Tillmans, Ph.D., is the research director at Dan. She has a degree in human biology and a Ph.D. in oxidative stress, a condition associated with acute diving injuries. Dr. Tillmans is an experienced public safety diver, scientific diver, and dive safety officer. She has worked as a researcher in global collaborative projects focused on decompression stress, inert gas narcosis, and oxygen toxicity, and she was employed by the German Navy before she began working at Dan in 2019. Tonight, she will be presenting the Research Roadmap 2021 and beyond. Over to you, Frauke.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in tonight. As Brian said, it is getting dark here, although it shouldn't be. We're under a tornado warning, so please excuse if I have to take shelter in between, but we will be back after that. So what I'm going to present today, and I'm going to share my screen right now, is the Research Roadmap 2021 and beyond. What this means is I'm going to walk you through everything that we currently do and plan on doing for the rest of 2021 and probably for the upcoming years. Research projects always take a bit longer than just a year, so to let you know what Dan Research has been up to and is going to do in the near future. And then it's particularly important to me that you know how you can be a part of Dan Research, because diving research doesn't work without divers. So let's get started on this one. To have us all on the same page, Dan's mission, the mission statement for Dan is to help divers in need of emergency medical assistance and promote dive safety through research, education, products, and services. Now, we are a well-rounded organization. We're a non-profit organization. Everything we do is somehow tailored to your safety. And I only play a small part in it, but nonetheless important. And I really enjoy working this. So diving research at Dan, this small part that helps with all the diving safety, is basically split into three different parts. One is the human physiology, which I came here to do, and I'm really enjoying. That is where my background and my education is. But diving research doesn't work without population health. We are dealing with a increasingly aging diving community. And COVID has put some challenges on us as well, as everyone who's listening probably has experienced as well. And the last caller here is injury monitoring. We try to collect as much information about diving accidents and diving fatalities to learn from them and figure out how things went wrong and how we can improve this in the future. If you wanted to press all that into our research focus areas, those would be health and diving, decompression safety, prevention of diving injuries, and treatment of diving injuries. While not all of that is purely research work, a lot of that lies in the hands of the medics. A lot of that is other institutions that work with us. But these are the main focus areas, and we revisit those every other year to see if we are still online and we are still serving the diving community and are still doing what the diving community expects from us and what they need. If you don't take anything away from this talk today, I do want you to remember a few things, and the main takeaways will be how to navigate our all-new dan.org website that we've all been working on very hard and that has finally launched. How to become part of Dan Research, obviously. That is my main goal today. And I want you to know and to understand and to know that we appreciate that Dan only lives with your support. So let's get started. Where do you find information on this dan.org thing? This is the cover of the website. You find membership and insurance information, health and medicine, safety and prevention, research and reports. I'm going to come to that in more detail. Education and events, professional programs, and an About Dan section. You also find the Dan store, the Alert Diver, a blog with all kinds of very good information, and there is a lot to discover on this page. I would invite you to go and just have a look once you've finished watching my webinar. What I really want you to look at, just because I've put so much work into it, is the research and reports section. And that is going to get you to resources where you can find what projects we're working on, to find resources, to find out how you can sign up for studies and participate, and how to apply for funding if you have projects that you think would be beneficial for Dan to get their hands in. I'm going to switch now to the browser. So this is what research and reports looks like. Our current research would be found here, completed studies, so everything that Dan has done in the past 4 decades that we have been doing research. And then obviously most important for today, how to get involved. And for those who are scientists or researchers, the grant program and the collaboration opportunities. Going back to my presentation. So how can you participate? One thing during the pandemic that everyone learned is that you have to make things possible. And so we have a lot of things that we did online and that we have people participate in online. You can participate online if you had COVID, then you qualify for a COVID study. If you have experienced or witnessed a diving-related accident or incident or a mishap that you think would be a good learning opportunity for other divers so they don't have to make the same mistakes. Or if you have a lot of spare time on your hands and you want to help us optimize our decompression stress analyses. And I'm going to talk about all of these in more detail now. The Dankovet Study, internally we call them DRACO, it's the diver return after COVID infection, is a 5-year prospective study. So we're going to follow divers over 5 years. It is survey-based. Once you sign up for the survey, we are going to follow up with you, and we're going to ask for a lot of additional information, like fit-to-dive exams and hospital records if you had any. You are eligible if you had COVID, so if you had a positive COVID test or if you had all the symptoms, even if you haven't been tested, please sign up. If you have recovered from it, or if you're close to recovering, you need to be on the way to get better. If you have returned to diving, or if you're planning to return. So if you can check all these 3 boxes, then please sign up at research.net/r/Dankovet Study. You can also use this QR code here, or you send us an email at research@dan.org, and we're happy to sign you up. The initial survey is going to take 10 to 15 minutes. It's a one-time registration, and we want to know a lot of information from you. After that, if you qualify, or if we determine that yes, you had COVID from what you have submitted, then we will follow up with you with up to 9 surveys over the next 5 years. What we want to know is how severe your infection was, how fast you recovered. Did you have any residual medical conditions, or do you have any medical stress now? Did you have issues when returning to diving, if you have already? And then did you consult a physician? There are a lot of other questions that we are interested in. And if you're just interested as a physician or a nurse or someone in the medical field to sign up your divers, we are happy to send you a link with a mock questionnaire, so you know what we're looking for, that the answers in there don't go into our database. We are planning to recruit 1,000 divers, and the enrollment started in August 2020. This is a worldwide study. We now have it available in English, German, Spanish, and Portuguese. And I'm happy to announce that we enrolled our 700th diver this week. So we are hoping to close enrollment within the next 3 to 4 months, and then just work on the follow-up with you. Another way how you can participate is through our diving incident reporting system. And for those that have tried to submit a diving incident report within the last, let me say, 5 months, I apologize if we haven't gotten back to you because we had some technical issues. Those are now resolved, so this is up and running again. So if you have experienced something that was critical in your eyes, that has a lot of learning potential that you want to share with the diving community or other people, we anonymize everything you submit. We follow up with you. We ask, again, a lot of questions. We want as much detailed information as we possibly can to understand how these things happen, to share it with the diving community, and to make other people realize that how things could go wrong, potentially. I am going to switch to the website again. So if you want to find the diving incident reporting system, you have to go to Safety and Prevention. You go to Report an Incident, which is the 4th one right here. There. And with that, it should get you to report an incident. It is very important that you know that this is not to file a claim. So if you have you want to settle anything with our insurance agents, or you have questions about travel insurance or professional liability, or you cannot file a claims report here. You have to contact our liability or department or membership. But if you want to report an incident, it will, so you click here, report an incident, and it will get you to this website. Again, the warning when not to submit, and then we need your contact information. So I have said that this is anonymized, and it will be by the time it is published on the website, in the Alert Diver, in the annual diving report. But until then, we need your contact information to find out what happened, to make this a thorough report. So again, this is meant as learning opportunities. If you are not interested in sharing your incidents, that is fine with us, but it is one way to participate and to make the diving community learn about mistakes that other people made. And then the third part, how you can potentially work with us and for us, is decobubbles.com. This is something that everyone can do. You don't have to be a diver, you don't have to be medically trained, you don't have to be very experienced, but you can. What usually happens when we go out in the field is this here is you go diving, and then this is my valued colleague, Dr. Papadopoulou from UNC, we take measurements from you. So we take cardiac ultrasounds, and those look like these here. What then happens is we take home a ton of these videos, and in previous years, the idea was that we grade those. That is still time consuming, but it's okay. So these grading scales that we used or are still using are, we look at the video and we determine, okay, grade 0 would be no observable bubbles. This is obviously not the case, looking at the champagne that is coming out here. So this is not occasional. It's not 1 every 4 heart cycles. So and it's not a whiteout yet, so single bubbles can still be discriminated. So this would probably be a grade 4, maybe a grade 3 if you look at the frames. Now, working with grades is always difficult in science because we can't do a lot of calculations with it, and we want to be as precise as we possibly can. So we went into the business of counting these bubbles, which you can only do when you stop that video at a certain point when the valves are open, and by that time you can click through all the bubbles that are there, and then you determine after over 10 heart cycles how many bubbles you have, and you put that into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you start calculating. Now, this is really time consuming, and I'm telling you, as someone who has done this a lot, that it can be very tiring, and you cannot do that all day. So what we were lacking were people to help us do this. And what we're ultimately lacking is an automated system or an algorithm to help us count this, because this is something that a machine could do for us. Now, to train an algorithm, we have developed Deco Bubbles. And by we, I mean the Joint Department of Biomedical Engineering of UNC and NC State and Dan. So we put our heads together and decided it is time to come out with a website that will allow people to learn how to grade or how to count bubbles in our videos, and all those counts can then go into our database to feed into the algorithm and to eventually have an automated system, which then ideally I upload a video and it will give me a number. That would be fantastic. I'm going to switch to the browser again to show you how this looks in real life. Hold on, let me go back. So this is the title page, decobubbles.com. Once you are there, you will be asked to register. And when you register, you will be prompted to a video. This training video is 8 minutes long and will tell you all you need to know about heart anatomy in a very short sequence, and then how to work this application and how to count bubbles for us, 10 frames per video. Once you've done that and you have successfully completed 3 training videos that are in agreement with our previous ratings, then you're allowed to actually become a rater, and then you can you get access to this dashboard. As you see here, this dashboard is my personal one from December. And at the time, we had 204 videos in the database. We still do have those, but only 6% of the videos were rated. And we only had 32 unique raters, of which half were probably friends that just felt pity for us, for me, when I said, please, I need someone to test this. So this is the status end of 2020. What then happened is we launched this about a month ago, and all of a sudden 44% of our videos are rated. We're hoping for much more because the database is going to grow. I'm going to talk about the reasons for that in a minute. We have 170 unique raters, so thank you all for signing up. I'm very happy that this has been a success so far, and I'm hoping that over the next year we will be able to train this algorithm sufficiently that no one will have to ever count manually bubble videos again. Now, if you are a researcher or belong to an institution that does count, that does on a regular basis take videos for chamber view videos of hearts with bubbles, then please reach out to us if you want to use the app for analyzing your own data. These don't have to go into our database. You can use the app as a scientist or researcher if you just reach out to us at UNC or at Dan. Trying to get back to my presentation. There you go. So, more exciting for most people, I guess, is the outlook that in 2021 we can finally get back into the field. So I am hoping to have more studies set up over the summer at various locations. Most of that, I have to admit, is planned for now in North Carolina, Dan headquarters. But if you wanted to participate, there are two major areas of study that we're currently undertaking. One are the bubble studies, where the main objective is to find out who bubbles and who doesn't, and what's the difference between the two. So why do some people have those bubbles and some people don't? But for that, we need to figure out, or to have a sufficient number of people that do have bubbles to see, to have an idea in which direction we could go looking for reasons for some people bubbling and some people not. What we do with this on top of that is we want to optimize our data collection. And what you see here is the Butterfly, a handheld ultrasound probe that connects to a phone or an iPad, which we compare to our current gold standard, which is a laptop-sized ultrasound. And we just try to see if we can get the same quality of videos with this machine as we did with the old machine that we have been using for many, many years. We also compared this, special thanks to other systems in France. Hope you have tuned in, although I know it's midnight. We are using the ODive Pro to determine whether the readings that they get, so what we hear with this Doppler device is comparable to what we see in the images we take with our ultrasound 2D imaging probes. The second part that is a big part this summer is going to be the cardiac monitoring, and at the moment we are enrolling mainly public safety diving groups for this study. So we go to the already planned trainings that you guys are doing. We have a few lined up over the summer, and what we want to know is if diving affects cardiac function. What we do as a side project in collaboration with RTI, which is the Research Triangle International with Dr. Furberg, is testing of wearable devices in immersion. So we try to determine whether various EKG versions, smart rings, wristbands, dive computers with physiological monitoring capabilities, or fitness trackers like chest belts can help us determine heart rate variability, and EKG underwater, which currently is a challenge. And we're hoping to advance the technology there in collaboration with RTI. So this being said, this is just a very brief overview of what we are trying to do. If you want to sign up, obviously you can send me an email, but what I would prefer is if you go to dan.org, Research and Reports, we've been there before, you find the Get Involved section and the Volunteer. Let us do this real quick. So we get to dan.org, landing page, you find Research and Reports, you find Get Involved, and there you go to Volunteer Opportunities. If you click on Volunteer Opportunities, it will get you to a registration form. And if I click on that, it will tell you I'm already registered. So this is what it's going to look like. And what I need is some information about you, your diving experience, your general health. All of this is only going to be used by the research department. This is not going to go into any other databases at Dan or outside of Dan. So if you want to be part of Dan Research and be my personal guinea pig, one of the studies, then please consider signing up. And also just follow this QR code here, again, after we've finished this webinar. And then the last thing I would want to say is I welcome all kinds of divers in my studies. Some studies are more challenging than others, and we're usually limited in time and equipment. So if I have a limit of divers that can participate, let's say 10 per day, 8 per day, 16 per day, then please don't be disappointed if you don't get to dive that day. We will try to schedule it the way that you don't come to the quarry for nothing. So we will schedule all this way in advance, so you know that you will actually be diving and be measured. For those that volunteered before and want to volunteer again, you already know this, but please do not sign up or come to the quarry and volunteer if you are teaching or if you are currently in a course. Our schedule is very tight, and it is going to be a challenge for us to accommodate any type of teaching that will have to go on in between. So if you're coming to the quarry, or the ocean or wherever we are, and you want to dive for fun, and you also want to help us with research, then you're more than welcome to sign up. The last thing that I would like to share with you where you could participate, and this now goes to the non-divers. So if we have anyone here, if you know someone in your family who is not diving, never wanted to dive, but is still interested, so we are looking for 10 non-divers that will snorkel for science. Since the full-face snorkel masks got into on the market, there have been various models from many manufacturers. Some are better, some are worse. There have been concerns after some unexplained deaths using these full-face snorkel masks. And what we're trying to do is testing different models for safety. So looking at various physiological parameters, how inexperienced subjects handle these masks, and where the main concerns might be. And we do know that there are various differences in the way these are manufactured. And generally, the companies that have a research and development department did a better job at making this a safe device. But in general, we need to explain where these deaths occurred and why. Now, this is all for now that I want you to know about how you can participate. If you can't participate in person or don't really care about doing something online that is bubble counting, or you haven't had COVID, we always appreciate your donation. Donations at Dan can be general, or they can be dedicated to a specific cause. We do have the Dan Endowment, which specifically supports the Dan mission program, so the helpline, the hotline, the medical hotline, the research projects. We appreciate everything. And the easiest way, and this doesn't even cost you anything, you can transfer your Amazon, or you can log into your Amazon account at smile.amazon.com and choose the Dan Foundation as the nonprofit organization you want to support, and then Amazon will donate to Dan for you. I'm doing this. I do not know how many more people are doing this, but I feel that this is a very, very good way to just give without having to care, to think about it too much. If you are not yet following us, then please go to Divers Alert Network on Facebook, follow us there. Divers Alert Network, and on Instagram, Dan Global Safety at Twitter, and Dan TV. Most of you have figured that one out because you're just watching it. And with that, I'm open to questions, but before, I would like to thank all our Dan members, pros and businesses. We really appreciate your support. This makes research and medical services and everything else possible. We cannot work without you keeping our lights on. Thank you so much.
All right, and thank you, Frauke. Really enjoyed the presentation. I hope you all did. Thanks to all of you for being here tonight. And thanks, as Frauke said, to our Dan members, without whom we wouldn't be able to do this educational outreach or anything else that we do. I will let you all know that it's a great time to post questions in the chat if you do have any. And also, this presentation will live on for you to view or share. So go ahead and let your friends know. Anybody that wasn't able to make it tonight can go on Dan's YouTube channel to watch it later, or to the events page on dan.org. So let's see if we have any questions. All right. Okay, great. We have a question, Frauke. What is the purpose of the Dan COVID-19 study? Is there a particular hypothesis that is being tested?
So it all started with some literature that came out very early in the pandemic that caused a lot of panic and a lot of anxiety in the diving community, which basically said, if you had COVID as a diver, you will never get in the water again. And we were struggling to find proof for that. So part of those questions, there are several things we want to figure out. There is not one particular hypothesis. As this is a new disease, it's also new side effects. It is comparable to other pneumonias, but then it's different. So what we want to do is just get a broad overview over how many people actually had a severe outcome, how many had to be hospitalized, how many were completely asymptomatic but still had symptoms after that when they returned to diving. So there's a variety of questions that we are going to be able to answer. And there's certainly some limitations in there as well. We are aware of that, but at this point, it is planned as a descriptive study, and as we go along and learn more, we will develop more questions, and that will be reflected in the follow-up questionnaires in year 2 and 3.
All right, thank you, Frauke. Okay, anybody else have any questions? It looks like that may be the end. So once again, thank you, Frauke. Thank you, everyone who joined us. Thank you for your support as DAN members, and we will see you in April for our next presentation in the 2021 webinar series. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.